Well, good morning. Today's Wednesday, in case you forgot. The last time I did one of these, I was talking about discontentedness or being discontent. So I thought it would be helpful to cover the other side of that, and that is how to be content and why. Why should we be content? Well, Paul writes in 1 Timothy 6:6, godliness with contentment is great gain. Let's look at this a little more in depth. What is godliness? Godliness is a God-centered life. It grows not through the pursuit of a process, but through the presence of a person, that person being Jesus Christ. In fact, 1 Timothy 3:16 says, "And most certainly, the mystery of godliness is great. He was manifested in the flesh, vindicated in the spirit, seen by angels, preached among the nations, believed on in the world, taken up in glory." Now, the he that Paul refers to here is quite clearly Jesus Christ. He is the mystery of godliness. Contentment is finding joy in what God has given you. The opposite of contentment is greed, which destroys your capacity to enjoy what God has given you. Contentment is a Christian grace that grows over time. It does not come quickly, easily, or naturally. Paul says in Philippians 4:11, "I have learned to be content." Now, if Paul, one of the greatest apostles who wrote over half of the New Testament, had to learn to be content, then there's no way that you and I are just going to fall into it. We're going to have to learn to be content. On the other hand, if Paul learned, so can we. In fact, Paul calls being content a secret. The following verse, Philippians 4:12, Paul writes, "I know how to make do with little, and I know how to make do with a lot. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being content, whether well-fed or hungry, whether in abundance or in need." So what was Paul's secret? How did he learn to be content? Well, let's consider what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11:21 through 29. "But in whatever anyone dares to boast, and I am talking foolishly here, I also dare. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the descendants of Abraham? So am I. Are they servants of Christ? I'm talking like a madman. I'm a better one with far more labors, many more imprisonments, far worse beatings, many times near death. 5 times I received the 40 lashes minus 1 from the Jews. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I received a stoning. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I have spent a night and a day in the open sea. On frequent journeys, I faced dangers from rivers, dangers from robbers, dangers from my own people, dangers from Gentiles, dangers in the city, dangers in the wilderness, dangers at sea, and dangers among false brothers. Toil and hardship, many sleepless nights, hunger and thirst, often without food, cold and without clothing, not to mention other things. There is the daily pressure on me, my concern for all the churches. Who is weak and I am not weak? Who is made to stumble and I do not burn with indignation?" Paul learned the secret of being content by going through periods of being without, by being in danger, by suffering for the cause of Christ. And you know what the secret really is? Paul reveals it in Philippians 4:13. "I am able to do all things through him who strengthens me." Him. That is Jesus Christ. That, my brothers and sisters, is the secret to being content, leaning on Jesus. There's an old song that goes like this: "What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. What a blessedness, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessed peace, my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms." Friends, if you're worried, if you're discontent with your lot in life, remember Paul and turn your eyes to Jesus, our rock and our salvation. Then count your blessings and you'll see you have so much more than you deserve, more than enough to be content. And finally, remember Proverbs 30, verses 7 through 9. Two things I ask of you, don't deny them to me before I die. Keep falsehood and deceitful words far from me. Give me neither poverty nor wealth. Feed me with the food I need. Otherwise, I might have too much and deny you, saying, Who is the Lord? Or I might have nothing and steal, profaning the name of my God. Lord, that's our prayer today, that you would just give us whatever we need, sufficient for our needs today. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a great day.